What is up, guys? Today is June 9th, and I took two trades today, and they both were losses. Unfortunately, the price action was not in my favor. Um, I had the right bias, just the macros and when I took the trades just did not work out according to how my trading model works. So let's get into the trades that I took and why I took them. So starting off on the 4-hour time frame, I was very bullish on the day, mainly because we came into this 4-hour fair value gap right here where we bounced off of it and we're starting to trade higher. This candle right here, that at 10 o'clock when it closed, it actually closed above this 4-hour fair value gap, further solidifying my bullish bias. Here on the 1-hour chart, we had the same kind of story. We swept that low right there. We're inside of a 1-hour fair value gap. We start pushing higher. We invalidate this 1-hour bearish fair value gap. Overall bullish order flow on the hourly time frame. Now on the 15-minute time frame, same exact thing. Market opens, we drop down, sweep out these lows, trade into this 15-minute fair value gap and start to move on higher. So overall, I am very bullish. Now the one thing that I did not like today, if you see here at 10 o'clock, we opened up and then just pushed right up without leaving a lower wick on that 10 o'clock candle. How many candles have no lower wick? Very few. It's pretty rare, honestly. So that was unfortunate. It didn't give me any kind of good feeling that this was going to continue pushing on higher. But anyway, the targets that I had were the previous day high here at 880, and then after that was 936.25, which was the high from Thursday. So I felt that we were going to move into that direction. It seemed pretty obvious that it wanted to do that, but of course, with it being a no news Monday, that was really tough. So starting off in the first macro, I was very bullish, right? I wanted to see us move higher. And so let me turn on the indicator for the macros that I have here. So at the 950 macro, I wanted to see if I could get an early entry. And unfortunately, my model did not appear at that time because, as you can see, there was no bearish fair value gap that formed within the macro and then got invalidated, becoming an inversion fair value gap. So sucks because I wasn't able to capitalize on any of that move up into the previous day high, which would have been a nice risk to reward. So I waited to see what was going to happen in the 1050 macro, which is where I took my first trade right here. As you can see, we retraced back down into this 15-minute fair value gap that I have marked out here in blue off of that first move on up. And we had a 1-minute invalidation of this bearish fair value gap right here, which pointed to us being bullish on the order flow for the 1-minute chart. So I got in right there, put my stop below the swing low, and it started to move on up. Very good for the most part. And then we just dumped. So unfortunately, I got stopped out on this one at a 1R, one whole risk of what I usually take. I actually kind of set and forget it because I couldn't really manage it that much. I was pretty busy today. Then coming into the New York lunch session, here is where now with hindsight, I could see I should not have taken this trade. And the reason why is because, yes, we came back down into that 15-minute fair value gap again. We were still holding it. So that's why I still came in with that bullish bias, looking for a long entry here. But we had a 5-minute bearish fair value gap that we did not invalidate. Now, the 4-hour, the 1-hour, the 15-minute were all bullish, but the 5 minutes still had bearish structure. If we look, we had this high to this low, lower high, lower low, and then it was trading into this 5-minute fair value gap, which unfortunately it did not give us any kind of push through it. It actually held us down as resistance and then stopped us out. It did not take out this low here, as you can see, but usually I don't use those external lows like that. I was looking to see that from this swing low right there to putting in a new high. So I entered in on the 1-minute invalidation of this fair value gap right here, and unfortunately I got stopped out on that one. But like I said, I should not have taken this trade. Now, after this macro right here, we did push back on up and we invalidated that 5-minute fair value gap. So now all 4 of those time frames are aligning. They are all bullish. And then what do we end up getting here in the PM session macro? We get a 1-minute invalidation of that bearish fair value gap right there. So you could have entered in, stopped below that swing low, and you could have targeted a 1 to 1.5 to take off the majority of position, because that is usually what I do. I take off the majority about a 1 to 1.5. If it's really close to a high, then obviously I put it at that high, and then you leave runners. Here, this trade would have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minute trade. Boom, 1 to 1.5, and then my runner would have gotten stopped out at break even. Still a good trade. Unfortunately, because I did not wait for that 5 minutes to get invalidated, I was very impatient. I didn't have much time to even trade in the PM session, but this would have been a rock solid trade setup. I don't even know if it hit a 1 to 2. I think it got pretty close. It hit a 1.9. So still a good trade in my opinion. Today's price action was very choppy, as you can see. Lots of consolidation, then a big move, retraces, and then consolidates again, and then has a big move lower. Now for the PM session, I did not come in with a bearish bias whatsoever, but you could have potentially seen it as a bearish bias for that macro because of the fact that we were failing to take out any kind of high. We kept making lower highs, and although we were making higher highs, here we took out that and then started to retrace back down. And honestly, let me see, was there even anything on the 5 minute time frame that could have pointed to it? I mean, yeah, I mean, it did invalidate this 5 minute fair value gap right here, so then turning the 5 minute back to being bearish again. And so you could have taken potentially that 1 minute invalidation right here after the 5 minute got invalidated, so that way you would have had a bearish bias, and then your entry would have been at the invalidation of this. And honestly, I don't even know if it would have been worth the risk to reward. Let's find out. I haven't even looked at this yet. Putting your stop above that high, and then it would have hit at 4 p.m. You would have hit a max of a 1 to 2.7. So yeah, I mean, that could have worked out, but honestly, with the way I trade, I wouldn't have felt good with that 5 minute being the sole deciding factor for me to have taken a short there, because if you look on the 15 minute time frame, overall we were still pretty bullish, right? And as you can see now, it literally just took out that low right there, and now it is starting to trade back on higher. I do think we're going to end up hitting that 936 potentially overnight, so we'll see what tonight brings. Hopefully you guys ended up green today. I unfortunately ended up red. It happens. It is what it is, and we will be back tomorrow. Peace.